In this 11/11 series, as we count down to November 11, I'm going to channel a short message every day for 11 days from one of the 11 oracles of the rose line. Now, the oracles of the rose line are my guides. They are connected to the lineage of the rose, and there are 11 main oracles. And they were very clear that they have a short message to share. Each day there'll be a different one until November 11. This is a very powerful portal we are entering. It always is, but for some reason this year, 2024, and everything that's happening astrologically, energetically, in terms of humanity's consciousness, is particularly potent at this time. And on top of all that, today, November 1st, when I'm recording this, is the new moon in Scorpio. So it is a day where we are in the darkness of the moon, where it's All Souls Day, Day of the Dead, Halloween, all of these energies that represent the darkness, but also represent the thinning of the veil, are around us as we enter this portal. So I'm very excited to do this series. I'm going to be creating a video every day for the 11 days. They won't be long videos. I'll just give a little introduction, and then one of the 11 oracles of the rose line will come through. I don't know in advance. I mean, I know on the day who's going to come through, but nothing is planned out. I'm just tuning into the energies of the day. And today's energy was very clear who was going to come through for me today, based on everything I just shared with you about the energies of this Scorpio season. So I will introduce her in a moment. If you're wondering what I'm talking about with the rose line and the oracles of the rose line, I have created 2 videos in the past. One is my personal rose line journey, where I talk about how I connected in with the rose line beings. And the second one is a meditation that I did where you could meet the 11 oracles of the rose line. So for me, there are 44 rose line beings that I've tuned into. I've tuned into most of them. There's still a few to reveal themselves, but there are 11 main oracles. And these 11 oracles are guiding a lot of the work I do. The priestess initiation journey that goes all year has been guided by these 11 oracles, and they play a big part in my membership, the Temple of the Rose. I don't normally share much about the oracles outside of my membership. And I was a little hesitant when I received just last week to do this. And I thought, well, hang on, normally the rose line oracles I keep for my membership. And it was like, no, we have a message that we want to share with everyone. It will be short, succinct, but it is vital for the activation of this portal in bringing about the co-creation of New Earth, because that's what the rose line are here for. That's why the rose is being activated at this time more than ever before. You hear people talk about the roses, about the rose line, the lineage of the rose, and it's because that frequency is here to move us into sacred union, into a harmony of the masculine and feminine within ourselves, because that's what enables us to shift frequency into the frequency of New Earth. So this is what they're here for. This next 11 days is all about assisting you in that process of the frequency shift required. The energies are there externally, so this is about how can you be supported internally to take advantage of those external energies. So that's a little explanation of the whole series. I won't go into that with each video. If you are not starting at video 1, you've started somewhere else and you've come back, it doesn't matter. There's actually not a numerological order. It's just go with where your heart leads you, with whatever shows up in your feed. Just follow the rose petals, as I say. You may watch all 11, or you may just be drawn to a few. That's okay. That's because those messages are particularly important for you at this time. Okay, so let's get into the first rose line oracle, who is coming through today with a message for you. As I said, her energy is very connected in with the scorpionic energy, with the dark moon energy. She certainly is a dark goddess, or holds the codes of the dark goddess. And any stories you hear about her, that's what comes through. And in such a way that sometimes it's actually portrayed negatively. But her codes are not a negative frequency. They are the embodiment of the dark goddess. And so this being is Morgana. Now, you may know her as Morgaine or Morgan-le-Fay. She is known from the Arthurian legends. And interestingly, she is the first one that ever came through to me. In about 2004, when I was tuning into the energy of the roses for the first time, Morgana was the first one that started to channel her story to me. I was very connected with her at that time. I was in full elemental mode. I just owned a fairy shop and had moved away from that, but was really immersed in the Roseline energy. And she came through so strongly that for a while I was like, maybe I should change my name to Morgana. And I did dabble in being a Morgana Rose for about 2 weeks. And then when a new neighbor looked at me really strangely when I said my name, I went, that's not working. I'm not owning that. But that's how close I was to her frequency. So she wanted to come through today in this time of the new moon, in this energy of darkness, encouraging us to embrace the darkness, embrace the unknown, and embracing going deep, diving into the depths where we are often afraid to go, which is very much the Scorpio energy. So we are so supported by the new moon frequency, or even now I'm recording this beforehand. So we're in the balsamic phase of the moon right now. We're in the dark of the moon. So no matter when you're watching this, you are receiving this energy now on November the 1st. So it's a 111. Or an 11-1 if you're in North America, but it's the 111 energy. And as I said, this is going to be the introduction leading into the quadruple 1 energy, the 1111 that we all know and love when it comes to our clocks. And in fact, that was the confirmation I got when I got the idea of, I was actually watching something on YouTube. A video that was recommended distracted me, but it was talking about doing YouTube challenges. And I thought, maybe I should do 11 videos in 11 days leading into November. And then I looked at the clock and it was 11:11. I went, okay, so here I am. So enough of the chit chat. Morgana is coming through. And she told me this morning that she wants to talk about ancestry. Now, this is a particularly important time. The focus is on our ancestors at this time of All Souls, the Day of the Dead. It all comes from this same energy. And admittedly, I live in Australia, so that energy is not as strong here because we're in spring. We're at a different time of the year, a different part of the calendar, even though we are still in the scorpionic energy. And yet, the energy is here for the world. We're remembering, there's always this polarity goes on in the world between the northern hemisphere and southern, but it's one and the same. So this is what's going to come through. This is what she wanted to speak about, the importance of our ancestors in supporting us into this new earth frequency. So she's given me a couple of ideas, but I won't talk about them now. I'll let them come through in the channeling about what is important for you to integrate to enable you to shift into the frequency of new earth when it comes to your ancestors. So I recommend, you can listen to this anytime, but if it is nighttime, I recommend being in the dark, or being in the dark with a candle, or otherwise closing your eyes if it is light. Closing your eyes and just being with the darkness as you hear her message come through. So once I finish the message, I'm not going to come back on and do a whole lot of chatting because it feels important for you to stay in the energy of her message. So I will do the message and then close out this video, and then I will be back tomorrow with another video. I'm just seeing if there's anything else to share with you before we begin. She's like, no, get started. Okay, let's get started. So closing your eyes. My beautiful friends of the rose. Within the darkness are many things. One thing that does exist within the darkness is your ancestors. You are who you are on the 3D physical plane because of your ancestors. They brought you here. That line that stretches back. Every piece, every ancestor was a step towards you. And why are you particularly important? Because you are here to be the bridge between the old world and the new epoch, often called New Earth. All that those before you have done is to prepare you to be this bridge, to prepare you to be a co-creator of New Earth. Every ancestor was a rose petal leading you to this. Do you honor them for this? Or do you look back and judge them? Judge the decisions they made. Judge the way they lived their life. Remember, they played their part. They made the choices they made with the level of consciousness they had. The level of consciousness you now have was, of course, a result of your soul journey, but in this physical form, it is also a result of your ancestral journey. Do you give them thanks for that? There is a tendency within certain cultures at this time to judge the culture that you came from, to make it wrong. It all played a part in bringing you here, to the place that you were born, within the family that you chose. How beautiful that step by step they brought you here to be the co-creator of New Earth. Yes, because of the consciousness that has been, karma has accrued through ancestral lineage. And know that this karma cannot be taken into New Earth. The vibration required for the co-creation of New Earth comes from a frequency that is unable to hold the density of karma. Karma is being left within the third dimensional frequency. You knew this. This is why for so many of you, you may feel that you have spent your life in therapy, having healing sessions, seeing psychologists, psychiatrists, doing regression therapy, all of these things. It is not about you. You have been doing this for the ancestral karma. Because that ancestral karma cannot be taken into new earth. For many of you, that work is complete. You can step away, dropping the cloak of karma from the ancestral line and being in the pure frequency of the co-creator. And so the message that I bring you on this first day of November, the day of the souls of those who have passed, your ancient ancestral line, is to love them. Hold your ancestors in love. Hold the choices they made in love. You have been integrating the karma, moving it into the light. You stand on the shoulders of giants. See them this way, and you will free yourself to move into a frequency beyond the third dimension. And the fifth dimensional frequency that is the new epoch of new earth. Receive this activation now. Perhaps direct it to your base or your root chakra, where some of that ancestral karma may have been held. Tindura lebui sidorelente. Kurane kista kuranete. Kuran kroa dose. Blessings to you from Morgana. I will see you tomorrow with our next Oracle of the Rose message.